Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome. Wow. How are y'all doing today? It has been such a phenomenal time this September. If you have not been aware, I have been very busy. And it all started, with, SDS at the beginning of the month, right? So we had an amazing 10-year conference. And first of all, if you have not joined me before, welcome. This is Love Tips and Velvet Lips. I am your amazing and wonderful host, Marla Renee Stewart, here to help you all about any kind of love questions, relationship questions, intimacy questions, any of those things that you have any questions about. I am happy to answer any of those at any given point in time. I just kind of wanted to give you an update because I know it's been a while since I've been here. And I know that there has been just a lot going on. So for me, like I was saying earlier, I had SDS, which if you're not familiar with SDS Con, it's SDS Con on IG. And it was our 10-year anniversary. It was amazing. We had it at the beautiful Hilton Hotel in downtown Atlanta. And it was so incredible. We have an amazing team that helped us put it all together. I think there's something like 23 people on our team or something like that. And everybody had their own little sections. And they took care of it very well. So it was really one of the best conferences yet. If you went to SDS and you are trying to buy a ticket for next year on the low, you can do that. Just make sure you check your email and fill out the conference survey, and you will be given a discount code for that for your ticket. So please make sure you check all of that out. And but yeah, I am just good morning, Nola John. Nice to see you. I'm just happy to be here, and just like as soon as SCS was over, which best Big Bang show, best, like just everything was really phenomenal. And I'm super proud of the work that T and I have put in, as well as our team and all the volunteers that came through. Really helped to make the conference everything that it was. So if you missed out, too bad, so sad. Too bad for you, because it was absolutely amazing. So with that said, yeah, kind of back to reality. Well, as soon as SCS was over, I ended up I had like 2 presentations, one virtual for a Sex Worker Appreciation Day. The next one was in Miami for my Anal for Champs class. And then the following week, I presented at the CDC STI conference. I presented on acculturated stress among Black femme sex workers. And then I got stuck in Atlanta. My car was like, nah, I don't want to charge. I don't want to do nothing. And so I was stuck in Atlanta for about a week, or maybe like 4 to 5 days, I think longer than I was supposed to be. Hi, Mary. Is it Mary DeLuna? Controversial. Yes. It's good to see you too. Thank you for being here. So yeah, I got stuck in Atlanta, and which isn't a bad thing, right? Got to hang out, of course. Stayed with Tia, got to hang out and have a good time. But it was just kind of, I had to have my car shipped to Florida, which was not cheap. And because in Atlanta, they were like, your appointment could be in November. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I need a new battery. Like, I can't even go anywhere. Like, what? And so anyway, I got here to Florida. They were like, yeah, here's a loaner car. We'll take your car. We'll replace the battery once it gets in. Everything will be fine. So that was great news. Great news to hear about the car. So yeah. Um, so yeah, now I'm back just trying to keep my feet on the ground. And this week is another full week, y'all. So I just want to say that if you are like, um, if you are thinking about, your relationship, intimacy, any of those things, it is Kinktober. What? Yes, Kinktober. Y'all know it's that time of year. It's starting to be around cuffing season, So you know what cuffing season is, and what better way to start off cuffing season than with Kinktober? I do want to say, if you are in Florida or are going to be around, I will be presenting this weekend at the Beyond Gender Conference. I'll be presenting on a couple pieces. I think one is a Unified in Love, thinking about cis and trans relationships, and sort of talking about my experiences and all the things that kind of go with that. And then I will also be, that's on Friday. And then on Sunday, I will be, I think, just talking about like interrogating the bipolarity of femininity and masculinity within queer folks. And I presented on this academically before, just kind of like queering femininity and what that really means. So I'm super excited about this weekend. It's the first time that they're doing this conference. Honestly, I was a big fan of blind, what was it? Blind Date? No, not Blind Date. The queer version of, is it Love is Blind? No, I don't know. Whatever it is where they like swap partners. Hold on. Now I have to look it up because I'm just like, this is gonna kill me. Queer Ultimatum. Yes. The Ultimatum, the queer version. Yeah. So I had watched that show, right? And loved the show. It was so good, right? So good. And I was like, I saw that the lineup was going to have Xander from Queer Ultimatum. And y'all know I'm a little bit of a groupie. So I was like, let me go ahead and check this out, right? So I was like, let me go ahead and present or apply to present because, I want to see Xander and I want to talk about the Queer Ultimatum. Like, I want to know about all these things because I'm nosy and a groupie. And so I don't know if, they'll actually be at the conference, or maybe, I think it's she, maybe. I don't know if they'll actually, or she'll be at the conference. What does it say? What are Xander's? She, her, they. Okay. But I remember that was at first, up on there. So I was like, yes. So hopefully maybe I will be able to check that out. And y'all, it's an all ages conference. So it's really quite interesting. Because I might just I'll be bringing my little one with me. And so hopefully I don't have to, but if I do, because how are you going to be on stage presenting and got your little one probably being like, I want to be on my iPad or whatever it is, or kind of attach themselves to me because he's clingy and that's just the way it is. But anyway, that is what I'll be doing this week regarding all the lovely things concerning love, intimacy, relationships, all of those things. So with that said, though, I am taking any of your questions. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to submit them at QRCODE dash slash love tips AMA. And I'm happy to answer any of those questions anonymously. And yeah. So October is Kinktober. And so today I really wanted to talk to you all about sort of like the basics, right? And the history. And although I can't go into like a deep dive or anything, you can always feel free to go to my shop. And if you're like, "Oh, I just want to learn about kink, um, excuse me, you can go to my shop and order the class, all about kink. Uh, 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 But what I really love is, one of Midori's, one of my favorite sayings, right, is his own definition of BDSM. But I feel like this is like the perfect one, right? It's a really good one. Um, so just when it comes to sort of the basics, right, we really need to know sort of what does BDSM really stand for, right? And if you don't know, if you split it up, right, B and the D stands for bondage and discipline, right? The D and the S, dominance and submission. So I know some of you took advantage of that kink bundle a couple weeks ago. So you all know it's all about like DS stuff. And then S and M stands for sadism and masochism, right? So it's a combo of BDSM of everything that stands for. Now, here's the thing. When we think about like kink BDSM, we kind of sometimes use it in exchange for one another. Kink is just sort of the umbrella, right? So BDSM falls underneath the umbrella of kink because kink is basically just behavior that might be categorized as alternative, quote unquote, or diverse, quote unquote, and is counter to quote unquote normalized sexual behavior, right? But the thing about when we think about kink is it's personal as to what kinky means to you, right? So kinky, somebody could be saying like, "Oh, I'm going to spank you." And that's kinky. And somebody could be like, "Okay, yeah, sure." Or somebody could be like, "Spanking, I do that every day. That's not kinky, right?" So again, it's so subjective about what kink is. That's why kink is the umbrella, right? A lot of times we get this mixed up with fetish. And as much as, people want to sort of intertwine these words or they're kind of intertwined in sort of mainstream muggle language, right? We have to understand fetish is an objectified sexual fixation, right? It is needed for that absolute pleasure or that orgasm, right? So understand that like when somebody says, "Oh, I have a foot fetish," it means that when they are thinking about their big O and they are thinking about all of those things, they are thinking about that foot. They're thinking about the feet. They're thinking about all the things that are making them happy with regard the foot, the feet, and their pleasure that they get from it, right? And so the reason why I like to mention feet is because it's such a popular fetish that, there's, we got the whole, the vajankle, right? um, we have a lot of, that's why people can make so much money, being foot models or doing foot fetish, kinks, right? OnlyFans doing all about feet and kinks and things like that. So, it really is a popular one. And, people like feet. Some people hate feet. And that's okay. Wouldn't be a fetish, right? If it was. Um, Another thing about sort of the king basics is thinking about sort of the D type or what we call the dominant types, right? So there's different sort of art. The top, right? I call myself like a professional top. Somebody who might be the owner of someone, master, mistress. These are all D type expressions. Handler, trainer, especially if you're into pet play. All of these things are going to be considered dominant types, right? As opposed to S types or our more submissive types, right? So we have submissive, right? Or sub. You could have like a rope bunny, a bottom, somebody who considers themselves as property, a slave, pup, pony, kitty, pet, any kind of pet play where you are the pet, that would be considered the S type of that. So again, there's so many different types of archetypes of D types and S types. And so really figuring out where you are, or maybe you're a switch, you go between both, and that's perfectly okay. Just finding like which ones feel good to you are going to be sort of the best ways to navigate that, right? Um, so yeah, and kink history, I would say it can be a little, can be, and kink like everywhere in the world, right? And so when I like to talk about kink history, I really talk about it in an intersectional sense of thinking about where are we thinking about, like, okay, we think about, okay, the Hojujutsu rope bondage, right, was used by law enforcement in the 1600s in Japan, right? So it's not only about um, the European or the colonization of kink per se, which we still experience today, but more so the broader kink behaviors, which we know is right not normal or the atypical type of behavior. Okay, so really kind of understanding intersectional kink history is just super, super important as we dive deeper into what it means to us as kinksters, and how we can know a little bit more about our history, right? So uh yeah. So yeah, it's Kinktober, y'all. So what are y'all doing? Are y'all thinking about, implementing some kink in your life? Are you planning on being a little kinky? Are you planning on integrating into cuffing season? What does that mean to you overall and how you are living your amazing October? And I would just, feel free to send me email, shout out, put in the comments, whatever you'd like to do. I would love to know about, what you're doing. I woke up this morning thinking about my Halloween costume because I was like, oh my gosh, it's Halloween. And I saw people putting up, I saw Halloween decorations about 2 weeks ago, which I was really impressed with, because number one, I love Halloween, but also like 2 weeks into September. Wow, like we're moving fast, and I guess it's kind of part of those like early holiday transitions. Like I guess sometimes when Halloween's not over, like Thanksgiving starts, and then like Christmas starts, like right before Thanksgiving starts. So like all of these sort of meshing of holiday seasons. Um, so I am, but anyway, I'm looking forward to Halloween. And with that said, I love a good horror house, not whorehouse, but horror haunted house, a horror themed house, and would love to know what your best haunted houses are, what they, please let me know because I would like to be there. And I need to do some real haunted house planning because I have not done a good job of that in the past. It's just kind of been like, been winging it. But not this time. Not this time. I need folks who want to go to haunted houses with me. I don't think I'm going to take my child. There's only 3. I don't want to scare him to death. So yeah, let me know what the best haunted houses are. Let me know what y'all are planning on dressing up as for Halloween. I've been going to Wilton Manor's Wicked Manors for the past, since Malachi was born, I think before he was born. And so I really enjoy that Halloween. It's just like a street festival. It reminds me a lot of San Francisco. San Francisco's Halloweens, where, masses of people just take over the city and just hang out in their costumes. And I really love, 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 love that. And so Florida has its own version of Wicked Manners. And so super excited to participate in that. And so, yeah, that's what I'll be doing. So, anyways, next week on the show, we will be talking about consent and negotiation. Consent always necessary, especially as it pertains to kink. And negotiation also, like how to negotiate, what to negotiate. Go over some, some sporadic details. But again, if you have not checked out my class on All About Kink, you can check it out at my shop, velvetlipsexed.com/shop. You can also check out my free arts and science and seduction class too. That will be there. So if you haven't checked out that class, it gives you just how to connect with people, right? I want this to be as popular as the love languages because this is better than love languages. I feel and believe. So once I get my TED talk, one of these days, the world will know. In the meantime, hopefully y'all can check out my shop and it'll be all good. So I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Monday and wonderful rest of the week. Remember, if you have any questions, you can always feel free to submit them anonymously or put them in the chat at any given point in time. If you have any sex, intimacy, relationship questions, I am here for you. So without further ado, thank you so much. And I will see you next week. Bye.